This video is going to show you 3 ways on how to break a 45 regen. This is the wall I'll be breaking. It is a wall that is at a 45-degree angle, and it regens. That's why it's called a 45 regen. This is a properly made 45 regen. As you can see, all this is sorts blocks. So if I take away water, it fills itself back up. Before I go into the 3 ways, I want to show you that there is a difference between vanilla cobblestone generation and a modified cobblestone generation. So let me just show you quickly what vanilla cobblestone generation looks like. So some people may be thinking that this here is false, that this is not vanilla. Well, if you test it for yourself, create a single player world that is 1.8.9, doesn't matter if it's flat or if it's a default world. Simply set up what I have here, just a simple pillar, just one lava source at the very top with a block on the side, and try to push water into this lava column. You'll see that it doesn't generate. So if you see, I'm back on crystal, and I have this exact same setup. So it's one lava source at the top, and then this is flowing lava with one water block right there. You'll see that crystal is using vanilla mechanics for trying to generate cobblestone. So now I'm on one shot. Again, same thing, one lava source at the very top, then a flowing lava column. And if I try to push water into it, it creates cobblestone. So if your server does this type of thing to where it's modified, then it's going to be harder to break a 45, and one of these methods won't actually work on that server, and I'll go over that later. But just know the difference between vanilla and modified. So one of the methods is simply stacking in multiple areas of the 45 regen. So that'll get rid of the water. I call this drying because you're simply getting rid of the water that was initially there. So if I just do this quickly, you'll see the result. So as you see, I've simply stacked here, and so it's one down from barrel height, and then this is actual barrel height, and it's a 2 wide width, and it stacks all the way at the top. So this is a barrel stack. So I'm going to aim right here with a normal shot, and you'll see that you can shoot through. As you can see, it drops down enough, and since this is barrel height, should be able to shoot right through. If I turn my render on, so that disables liquids. If I fire, you'll see that it'll shoot through that too tall gap. It'll stack at barrel height. You see that you shouldn't be clipping through that. Later in the video, I'll go over how you should do it on servers with a modified cobblestone generation, as I am firing this on crystal, which uses vanilla. For this next method, I'll be using my 255 OSRB. I'll have this linked in the description. You don't need to use mine. It's just that I'll be using mine because it's the one I have that I know that works on here. Now it has a barrel stack OSRB. I'll just be using nuke and OSRB on this. I already have barrel lined up. So this is aiming for 255. This is max height. If I expand my chat, see building height 256. So this next method works only for the aiming at the top of the 45 regen. So your barrel is, so say this is your barrel, you'll be aiming right there. So for this method, I need to go to cannon. I need to turn on backstack, so which is just everything off. I need to fire. And this is just going to make a backstack around here. You see? I have to go back to cannon. Turn on my OSRB and my nuke. Now before I shoot, I'm going to say what's going to happen. So you have this backstack, so when you barrel stack OSRB, it's going to hit here, it's going to blow up this wall, and it's going to push water into right here. which is going to turn this lava into obsidian. I'll demonstrate that now. As you can see, it made the lava there obsidian, and now that there's still water here now, you can fire again, and it's going to push water from here over to here, making those two obsidian. As you can see, gets rid of what you needed to. If you just fire again with an OSRB shot, it'll just keep making its way through the 45 regen easily. Now, I've personally used this on Lemon Cloud, this kind of technique, and it's worked for me. I don't know if it will work for you, so it may or may not work. I'm not 100%. All I know is that it's working on Crystal at this time of recording. And now that I have a 2 tall gap from barrel, as you can see, that is a 2 tall gap. I should be able to fire on through. And that's the second way of how you're able to break a 45 regen. Now, I have another 45 regen right behind it, which is actually the defense you would want to do in order to stop this kind of method from working. See that this is max height, can't place a block, chat. So this is also max height, can't place a block. You can see, height limit 256, 256. Now this water is 7 long, with this being on the 8th block. When I count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So that's from the source block. And what this will do is, no matter how much I try to push water into here, into this block, it won't push. So it backstacks. Let's see. Turn on the OSRB, the nuke. By fire, you'll see what I mean. So there is a blowing up type of deal, and it didn't push water in because, I mean, it can't. Like, this water at the very top cannot flow past this point. There may be other ways to break 45 regens, but so far I only know 3. And before I go into the third one, I just want to say that it's just timings. And I'm going to explain that further. So this right here is just something I set up. And this right here simulates a 45 regen for how it works. So there's water here. It pushes it under lava. And it creates stone. See, this dispenser goes off 0 ticks from when I press button. Essentially. Just essentially. And then this one has a set delay to go off after I press button. So you can think of it as there's a time difference between when this goes off and when this goes off. So knowing what difference you have between this dispenser and this dispenser is important for if you're trying to drop lava. Now, what do I mean by drop lava? Let me just press this button. So there's TNT there. So it blows up. And it blows up again. As you see, it didn't create cobblestone, but instead it dropped down lava. That's what I mean by dropping lava. So the time difference between this dispenser and this dispenser right now is 28 redstone ticks, which is equivalent to 2.8 seconds roughly. As one redstone tick is 0.1 second, 28 of them will be 2.8 seconds. So as you see here, 28 and 29 redstone ticks work. So from here and here, the difference between this one and this one is 28 redstone ticks. And if you put it on 29 redstone ticks, this will also work. As you see, it blows up the block, and blows it up again, and it drops lava. Now, I haven't gone into the game ticks, so I don't know if there's a game tick variant to this, so I don't know if 27.5 will work or 29.5 will work. But I do know that 28 and 29, so the difference between this one and this one, being 28 redstone ticks or 29 redstone ticks work, but 27 redstone ticks and 30 redstone ticks do not work. So if I do this, this will not work. It will not drop lava. Now, I don't know exactly why. All I know is that it doesn't do it. I do have my suspicions about why it doesn't, such as lava has a time to flow, and breaking at specific timings allows it to flow faster than water in certain circumstances. So if I replicate this on a cannon, which I have, this cannon replicates that 28 redstone tick difference, or 2.8 second difference. So just a quick rundown of the cannon is, this is its initial hybrid. So this goes off just normally. It doesn't toggle on or off like this one down here does, which is just dispensers under there. The first time it fires is, this will go off and it'll hit wall and it'll blow up. The second shot will come in, and this would be a 3-second difference from the first shot because it's a 3-second cannon. But we know that 3 seconds is equal to 30 redstone ticks, which doesn't work for trying to drop a regen 45. So that's why I have this alternator here. This goes off 2 redstone ticks earlier than this here. So if you take away 2 redstone ticks, take away from 30 redstone ticks, you get 28 redstone ticks. Now with those timings, you should theoretically be able to drop a 45 regen. So this one down here goes off earlier than this one. So you can always have this one on because this goes off later. So that's why I have this alternator here. This alternator, this will make it not shoot the earliest on the first shot. Then when the second shot comes around, this will tick off. And then theoretically, it should drop the regen 45. Let's go test that. So on this cannon, the easy way to get this to double tap is to simply place a block there. And when you press this button, it'll have enough time to go around. So this will go, and this will go twice instead of just going once. Some servers allow it, some servers don't. But it's the same as if you were trying to button spam. Just be careful about your server's rules in trying to do this. So it's easier on here because I can do it on here. I'm just going to place a block there. So when I fire cannon, it'll fire twice. And it will drop down lava, as you'll see. Fires once, clips on that block right there, and fires twice. And if you keep doing that, it'll keep on dropping the regen. Again, fires once, clips on that block there, fires twice. And it keeps on repeating this process, and it keeps on dropping down the 45, giving you a good amount of float in between if you do need to float through the 45. Clips on that block. Now, when you're at this point, you're going to want to go to cannon and drop down this by 1. Because you're aiming right here, or at least you were aiming here, and it needs a block behind it to clip on. So now you're hitting there, it'll clip on there, that'll drop. Now you want to go to cannon again, do the same thing one last time, go to the wall, and this keeps on repeating until you want to drop it. So you can keep on dropping it down, 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 and down. So you hit there, drops it. Now if you go back to your original height, which in my case is 250, by fire, shoots once, shoots twice. So you see that both shots made it through. It worked nicely. I could do the same to this back regen, but I've already shown it on this one, and the water on the very top doesn't matter for this method. Okay, so I'm on one shot again, and as you see, I'm on one shot. Now I have this set up, so this is on one shot, and this is a 45 regen thing. This is to simulate a 45 regen. And I have the same ticks up here, so if you want to count it, so 5 times 4, that's 20, and that is 8 there, so 28. So we know that 28 works on crystal. Will it work on one shot? And the answer is no, it won't. Because on here, it's a different cobblestone generation mechanic. It's modified, it's not vanilla. So dropping a 45 is seemingly impossible with the dropping lava method that I just showed with the cannon. But I have found out one that works to break a 45, which is the drawing method. Now the drawing method is you had to go 1 below barrel height and then go at barrel height, and you have to do 5 wide. Now for doing it on a server with modified cobblestone generation, you want to actually do 1 more lower than 1 below barrel height. So essentially you have a 3 wide gap with this being barrel height. Now I have a simple 1 stacker here set up. Don't mind the, immense power it has. But if I fire this, I just want to show that this is a 45. You can see here. It has some weird, this is why modified cobblestone generation is weird. So no matter how much I break, it's not going to drop. Alright. But with this setup down here, so this is equivalent to, say, if you try to do it at 255, it should still work. If I just press this button. You see it stacks and it blows up. And now it gives you this gap. This too tall gap. So this was barrel height and this is barrel height. You see? And you can fire right on through. If I were to set up a quick wall, type /fire. You see it shoots through, blows up. So for people that are trying to break a 45 on a server with modified cobblestone generation, this is one of the ways to aim at it lower down than 255. You can find both these cannons in the description. The one to the right here is actually, it has a cannon showcase for it, so you can check out that video if you want. And the one on the left is a new cannon. It's not really meant to really be too useful. It's just a simple showcase cannon to show you that you can break a 45 with a 3-second cannon. Because if you have a 2.8 second cannon, which isn't allowed on a lot of servers, you can actually break it easier with a 2.8 second theoretically than with this 3-second method that I'm doing here, which is toggling on and off a earlier one-shot. And that's pretty much it for the video. If you liked the video, then click that like button, check out the rest of my channel. I post mainly about cannons, so if you want to see more, click that subscribe button, bell notification icon to get notified when I post. It helps out both me and the channel and show support for the content I create. And like that, that's the end of the video.